Welcome to our fertilizer spreader instructional tutorial. In this video, we will discuss the features and operating instructions for the spreader. Let's take a moment to review the ground wheel drive spreader rules. Use caution when traveling on roadways. Our spreaders are slow-moving vehicles and should be towed as such. Do not drive on roadways after dark. Do not back up with the spreader engaged, as gearbox damage will occur. Do not drive on roadways with the drive wheel engaged. Only have the drive wheel engaged when applying product and driving forward in the field of application. Spreaders loaded with herbicide products must be washed thoroughly inside and out before returning. Finally, please return the spreader within 24 hours. Now that we have reviewed the basic rules, let's have a look at an overview of the spreader. We will cover safely towing the spreader and identify some of the features of the unit. First, you will need a vehicle which is adequate for towing the spreader safely on roadways. Second, a trailer hitch with the ball removed will be required. Our trailers use a hitch pin. The pin will pass through the spreader's tongue and through the hole in your trailer hitch to secure the implement to your vehicle. There's a set of safety chains on the tongue of the spreader. These must be hooked to the rear of your vehicle. Cross them in an X pattern. Attach the right chain from a spreader to the left side of your hitch and the left chain from the spreader to the right side of your hitch. The chains will hang below the tongue of the trailer. Be sure that they have enough slack to make turns, but tight enough that they do not drag on the ground. On the front of the spreader, there are 3 items you'll want to be familiar with. First is the jack. Be sure that it is raised all the way up so that it does not present a hazard when towing on roadways or hinder operation in the field. Second is the lever which engages and disengages the ground wheel drive. It is very important to have the lever disengaged in the forward position when traveling to and from the field and when backing up. Only engage the lever in the rear position when actively applying fertilizer and driving forward in the field. Third is the tarp, which should be affixed for all road travel. Be sure that the tarp is pulled tight by using the attached elastic stretch cord and the numerous hook points around the hopper of the spreader. On the rear of the spreader, there are a few components to be familiar with. First is the gearbox. Next is the conveyor chain. Lastly is the material divider and the spinner discs. These components are being highlighted for your reference, as they will not require any action from you during normal operation. Continuing with the rear of the spreader, let's look at the items which will require your attention in order to properly set your application rate. The feed gate setting indicator. The feed gate with attached jack, which is used to raise and lower the gate to the desired setting, and the pointer indicating the gate setting. Finally, the application rate chart will aid in determining which number setting to use for your desired application rate and driving interval. Now that you are familiar with the features of the spreader, let's cover the settings and procedures for proper field operation. First, we need to know the fertilizer density and application rate. These values will be provided for you on the top left of your invoice. In this example, our density is 51, and we are wanting to apply 200 pounds of fertilizer per acre. Now let's reference the chart on the back of the spreader to determine our feed gate opening. Since we have a density of 51, we will use the column labeled 50, since this is the closest match to our fertilizer's density. Next, we go down the column to find the application rate that most closely matches our desired pounds per acre. In this example, 195 is the closest match for our target rate of 200 pounds. On the chart, we can see that at 195 pounds, the gate opening will be set at the 2-inch mark. This is the setting we will adjust the feed gate to. Use the jack to raise or lower the feed gate to the correct setting of 2 inches. The application rate is now set. In our example, we are using the 30-foot driving interval. If you notice, the spreader chart has settings for 30, 35, and 40-foot intervals. In most instances, the 30-foot chart will be adequate for most fertilizer blends. However, in some instances, the 35 or 40-foot intervals may be better based on the density and application rate you are targeting. Our staff can help you select which chart is best suited for your application. Once you are positioned in the field and ready to start fertilizing, it's time to engage the drive wheel. To do this, pull down on the lever to release it from a lock tab. Move the lever to the left slightly so that it will clear the tab. This will allow the drive wheel to drop down and make firm contact with the tire. Push the lever toward the hopper. Move the lever to the right and let it rest on the back side of the lock tab. In the field, our spreaders are designed to be pulled at 7 to 9 miles per hour. This allows the unit to operate at the proper RPMs. Remember, only drive forward with the drive wheel engaged. Never back up. Doing so will damage the gearbox and render the spreader inoperable. A common application pattern is demonstrated on the screen. To achieve this, a border pass is first completed, followed by field passes made on your selected driving interval. Turn at each end of the field and try not to overlap the area of application from your border pass. Your application is now complete. Now that we are finished, disengage the drive wheel. Do this by pushing the lever towards a hopper to release it from a lock tab. Move the lever to the left slightly so that it will clear the tab. Pull the lever all the way forward to raise the drive wheel. Move the lever to the right and let it rest on the front side of the lock tab. For a final check, be sure that the tarp is affixed and pulled tight by using the elastic stretch cord and hooks. Make sure the drive wheel lever is locked in the forward position. Check that the jack is raised all the way up. Finally, check that the hitch pin and clip are installed and that the safety chains are hooked up to your towing vehicle. You are now ready to return the spreader. Thank you for watching our fertilizer spreader instructional tutorial. We hope you found it helpful for making a successful application. If you have any questions or issues, please contact our agronomy department for more information.